Ladies and gentlemen, what we witnessed today in the Oval Office wasn't just a diplomatic meeting. It was a seismic shift of American foreign policy. President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelenskyy went head-to-head on what quickly devolved into an explosive confrontation, ending with Zelenskyy being kicked out of the White House. The days of blank checks to Ukraine are officially over. And Trump didn't mince words, telling Zelenskyy directly, "You don't have the cards. Your country's in big trouble. You're not winning." When Zelenskyy tried talking over Vice President Vance, Trump shut him down. "Wait a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking." This is what real leadership looks like, folks, and we are going to break it all down. We've got the reactions. We've got the clips, and it is absolutely fire. So as we step into 2025, one thing is clear. De-dollarization is not stopping. It's accelerating. China and other BRICS nations are scared of President Trump, and it's making them more determined to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar and establish themselves as global economic superpowers. And the secret weapon is gold. In fact, China resumed buying gold. And you know what's even more telling? They underreport their buys. Doesn't it make you wonder why? They recognize its global value and ability to withstand economic shocks. Gold is a global asset with innate value. It's tangible, reliable, and immune to economic manipulation. And Noble Gold Investments can help you secure your financial future with gold. So visit nextnewsgold.com or call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347, to learn more. Now, let's get into it. There's a lot to unpack tonight. I guess we can start with Congressman Ronnie Jackson. He was on fire reacting to the action in the Oval Office today. Check this out.
Hey everybody, Congressman Ronnie Jackson from the 13th Congressional District of Texas. I'm here at the Republican retreat in Key Biscayne right now, just catching up on some of the news of the day, and I am absolutely astonished at what I saw. This is a message from me as a member of Congress to President Zelenskyy right now. Don't you ever come back to this country again and disrespect our country, disrespect the Oval Office, and disrespect my president the way you did today. After all that we've done for you, your unbelievable sense of entitlement is disgusting to me, and it's disgusting to most Americans in this country. As far as I'm concerned, you can go home and never come back.
Yeah. And he's just one person. Okay, so let's start it out. It started 7 hours ago. The Oval Office showdown, Trump versus Zelenskyy. Things are getting heated. Zelenskyy arrived at the White House, greeted by President Trump. No words to the press, just a thumbs up from Trump. But behind those doors, absolute fire. So let's break it all down. We have the details here, plus all the reaction. The meeting kicks off. It's not pretty. Trump lays it out. This war wouldn't have happened if I were president, and Zelenskyy pleads for more air defense and brings out grim photos to make his case, and Trump doesn't budge. Look at that photograph right there. It looks like a teacher scolding a little boy. Yeah, that's what Zelenskyy is here. Trump to Zelenskyy, "You don't have the cards." He reminds him Obama gave him blankets while Trump gave him javelins, the weapons that held back Putin's tanks. But Trump isn't giving handouts anymore. This is all business. Check this out.
With Obama, that was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards, but without us, you don't have any cards.
Look at that face he makes. Look at the face right here. He raises his eyebrows. "I got javelins. I gave you javelins." Zelensky's like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't even care." JD Vance lights into Zelenskyy, says it's disrespectful to come into the Oval Office and litigate in front of the American media. Trump jumps in. "You're gambling with World War III. The tension off the charts today."
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are not strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
Yeah, did you hear what he said? You have a nice ocean, but you will feel it in the future. Talk about disrespect. You have a nice ocean. Unbelievable disrespect right there.
Everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
You will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a
Brown,
good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
But right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War
What do you-
III.
what do you
You're
think about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
I'm wearing
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot
Entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
you said thank
Even
you.
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States
what
of
are you speaking
America
about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Yeah, he went and campaigned for the opposition. Remember that? Trump presses hard. Your soldiers are running low. You're telling us you don't want a ceasefire? Zelenskyy tries to respond, but Trump isn't having it. Check this out.
Let's go litigate.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this, I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on out here. I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low on
know.
soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than a degree. It's going to be a very hard.
He wants guarantees. Trump unleashes. Your country's in big trouble. You are not winning, making it crystal clear. Ukraine's best and only chance is because of America.
A damn good. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a
answer?
lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this.
I.
You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment.
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks. Your country.
Zelensky's like, yeah, we've been alone. Are you serious, dude? Zelenskyy gets heated with JD Vance. Vance tells him to stop fighting in the American media. I said, thank you a million times to the American people. Absolutely getting intense. And then we have Trump cutting to the chase. You can't make any deals without compromises. He's focused on ending the war, but Zelenskyy won't accept a ceasefire. We need security guarantees, but Trump shuts it down. Security is the easy part. We need to make a deal first. Trump is warning Ukraine, this is going to be a very hard thing to do, business like this, laying it all out. In the moment everyone's talking about Yes, when he said, Obama gave you sheets, be more thankful. This was not a normal meeting. Trump is treating Ukraine like a business partner, not a charity case, demanding real accountability. Of course, the media is going to spin this. And we've got the full recap of what happened there on our X account, and then it all happened. Zelenskyy booted from the White House, press conference in limbo. White House press just rushed to the West Wing driveway at 1:22 today. Zelensky's black SUV pulled up, signs point to his immediate departure. This was the play-by-play that we were giving out on X if you're following us all day. Trump's post on Truth Social, we had a very meaningful meeting in the White House. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion. And I've determined that President Zelenskyy is not ready for peace if America is involved because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage. I want peace. He disrespected the U.S. and its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he's ready for peace. The foreign press reports Ukrainian journalists were whispering Zelensky's leaving, but as of now, the limo was parked in the West Wing. It continued to go on. And then Zelenskyy is gone. The press conference was scrapped. 1:40 p.m. Zelenskyy left the West Wing, ignoring shouted press questions before his SUV rolled out at 1:42 p.m. Delegation followed at 2:40, officially leaving the White House grounds. There he is departing. Trump shuts it all down. The U.S.-Ukraine mineral deal is dead. A White House official confirms Zelenskyy walked away with nothing, no deal, no new security guarantees, and no press conference. Zelenskyy bolting out of the White House, ignoring all of the press, and you can see the action right there. This looks like a shot from the executive office buildings on the White House grounds, and you can see it all breaking down there. The full Oval Office showdown, we can play that in a minute, but I want to get to this too. I sat down with Sabura Shakula from the News Mobile India to break down the diplomatic disaster that unfolded in the Oval Office. And he was there. He says that Zelenskyy arrived combative, stiff, disrespectful, but let's hear from him directly. All right, Saurav Shukla from News Mobile, White House correspondent. You were there when Zelenskyy arrived, and of course, all the madness that unfolded in that Oval Office. What's your takeaway?
Well, Gary, I must say that this has been a dark day in diplomacy. A deal which was almost finalized. It was supposed to be signed, and then President Zelenskyy arrives, and for some reason, if you see his body language, the way when he entered as well, was very stiff. And despite the fact that many times during this press gaggle, President Trump tried to be diplomatic, tried to rein him in, but he was really coming across as very aggressively. We see the whole exchange. I studied the entire 40 minutes exchange, inside the Oval, and I can tell you that there have been instances where so many world leaders, you and me were there when Prime Minister Modi was there. There have been other world leaders who have been meeting President Trump. They have been very civilized, so to say, because if you have your differences as well, you don't air them in public. You don't try to score brownie points when you know you don't have an upper hand. It's only something else. If something else was there in his mind, he shouldn't have agreed to come in the first place. But when you come here, you respect the office of the President of the United States and the people of the US, who expect you to behave with civility, who expect you to behave in a manner which is befitting any president. And that's what he did not do. And despite the fact, President Trump, I saw the statement coming out, he has been gracious in saying that he still hopes that the peace can return back and President Zelenskyy will be back on the negotiating table. That's a statesman-like statement, Otherwise, the way President Zelenskyy behaved today was really undiplomatic. In fact, you should see the cameras panning even on the diplomats who were there seated at the Oval. They were in shock in the manner in which this whole exchange went on. He tried to be prescriptive to Vice President Vance, telling him, oh, you don't know Ukraine, you haven't visited Ukraine. Come on. If you have any difference, you don't say it in front of the cameras. You talk about civilities. The British Prime Minister was there. He and President Trump don't agree on everything. With Indian Prime Minister, they don't agree on everything. But they will be civil when it comes to camera. They will be agreeing to disagree, but not in this shrill manner. I thought that was really very immature behavior as well.
Now, clearly, I mean, there was an entire agenda for the day. Zelenskyy arrives, and then they meet in the Oval. You know, they exchange pleasantries in front of the cameras, and they go to a closed working lunch where all of these negotiations should have unfolded. But instead, Zelenskyy had another agenda. He went in, and even JD Vance was like, you know what? We're not gonna litigate this in front of the American people on camera. But Zelenskyy pushed and pushed and pushed, and then President Trump, obviously, I mean, you saw the body language, the assertion of his President Trump's dominance in that room, and Zelenskyy just made himself look like a fool in front of the entire world. And I mean, I want to bring this up because Lindsey Graham was just there at the White House too.
Yes.
And a lot of people are saying, well, you know what? Zelenskyy met with Graham right before this meeting took place, and a lot of people are saying, well, maybe Zelenskyy and Graham, who we know is a war hawk, who is, he loves perpetual war. He's always like bomb everybody, right? But people are saying maybe there was an ulterior motive to derail the peace plan so that this perpetual war could go forward. What are your thoughts on that? And of course, you saw Lindsey when you were there.
I'll tell you what, I heard what Lindsey Graham was saying, that, and his body language obviously was very different. I don't know what transpired between the meeting that he had with Zelenskyy. But yes, Gary, a lot of people profiteer out of war. Who knows who was trying to engineer? But this is on the leadership. You, as the president of Ukraine, should have got on to the Oval Office to do a deal. You should have been gracious in the fact that the people of the United States, the President of the United States, have supported you to thick and thin. This has been a bipartisan support to Ukraine, and you should have been grateful there. You should have actually said that, Mr. President, here is a time we need to resolve some of the issues, and let's do it when we meet for lunch. This is why diplomatic negotiations happened. You know, you and me, when we advise leaders, sometimes we always tell them that you have to be calm and composed. Only if there was something else that was at the mind of Mr. Zelenskyy that you and me don't know, maybe a third factor or a third force guiding him, which wanted the war to go on, which wanted the misery for the Ukrainian people and for the common civilians who are dying and the young soldiers who are dying. Perhaps they wanted this war to go on and they didn't want the peace to happen, which President Trump has been trying very hard. I must say, Gary, that he has been playing, President Trump, the role of a peacemaker. He has been trying right at the outset of this presidency to bring about peace, whether in the Middle East or to end the Russia-Ukraine war. But there are some elements, it seems, who don't want this peace to prevail, and perhaps one of them guided Zelenskyy.
Well, it was interesting when Vance brought up the fact that Zelenskyy was campaigning for the opposition during the election, and then they went to the arms factory in Pennsylvania. They were signing weapons of war with Sharpies, and clearly they have. There's a vested interest for the war machine to continue, and there's a lot of people that make a lot of money off of war, and. That money, as even like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has shared, that money just creates a circle. It comes from the United States and it goes to Ukraine, and then the weapons contracts get brought back into the military-industrial complex here, and then all that big money that these weapons manufacturers get, they have lobbyists, they have lawyers, and they go and they tell the congressman, they take them out to dinner and they schmooze them, and money. And even with like USAID, you never know like how much money is being funneled back through all these different companies and think tanks. So in my opinion, I think there obviously is a vested interest to derail this peace plan. I've never really trusted Lindsey Graham ever, but we'll have to wait and see. What are your final thoughts? Do you think this is completely out the window?
Well, I still see, for now, this is a big, I would say it's a wreck process. I'd written about it, we've been talking about it, and we were hopeful that this war will come to an end. But I do see this as a big setback, and this is a process which will take some time. Even though, as I said, that President Trump played the role of a statesman today, he has issued a statement saying that he wants Zelenskyy to come back to the table. But the reality is that today Zelenskyy, after the way he behaved at the Oval Office, was virtually kicked out of the White House. There was no joint presser. He was unceremoniously, in some ways, my sources telling me, was asked to leave because he disrespected the institution of the President of the United States. That's, Gary, if you ask me, was the biggest outline. But I do hope this war can come to an end. The misery of people can end. And obviously, we can use these precious resources to better use for the United States and the world and for the people of the world. Gary?
All right. Subra Shukla, News Mobile, thank you for joining us for this quick hit, last minute, and we look forward to talking with you more.
Thank you, my friend Gary. All the best. Thank you. Pleasure to talk to you.
All right, so that was my hit here. And then we have this, the world just changed. President Trump and Vice President JD Vance shattered the deep state's war machine, put America first on the global stage like never before. So this is the press release that was sent out. You can read it in full that I received in my inbox from the White House. But to give you some background, Rubio says no president has ever had the courage to stand up like this. Lindsey Graham, I've never been more proud of Trump. He exposed Zelensky's game for the world to see. Kristi Noem, America's back. We won't be disrespected. Pete Hegseth, amen, Mr. President. Josh Hawley, it's time for accountability and up blank checks. JD Vance to Zelenskyy, you should be thanking the president instead of trying to litigate our problems in the Oval Office. Trump humiliated Zelenskyy after his outburst, reminding him that without America, Ukraine has no cards to play. This is the moment America took back its power. Top voices from the Senate and House rallying around Trump, declaring an era of endless war and unchecked foreign aid is over. Tommy Tuberville, thank you, Mr. President and VP Vance, for putting America first. Steve Scalise, Trump is fighting for peace while putting America first. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Trump just showed the world how real leaders act. America's done being walked on. Mike Lee, thank you for standing up for our country. Jim Banks, gone are the days of foreign leaders walking all over us. The mineral deal was never signed. Trump saw Zelensky's game for what it was and refused to let it play. We have even more. Look at this. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, let's go. We've got, okay, I've got so much in this thread here. Okay, Zelenskyy gone. Official, Trump shutting him out. Now let's take a look. Here is President Trump. Just before he was departing for West Palm Beach, our own Todd Siegel was on the ground in West Palm Beach awaiting Air Force One. You can see all the footage on our X account. But let's go to the moment when President Trump speaks to the press on the South Lawn following today's events.
So I just want to say we're going down to Florida. We have a big event tomorrow night, a big MAGA event, Make America Great Again. And it's setting records, and otherwise I'd rather be right now at the White House. But we're doing the big event tomorrow night. We had some big news this week, as you know, because Apple is investing $500 billion. Think of that. And that's going to be a lot. It's going to be a tremendous investment. I guess the biggest investment anybody's ever made in the country at one time. But they're going to be investing a lot of money, $500 billion. We have many other companies that just announced they're coming in. A lot of it's because of how we're doing. We've done a great turnaround in a little more than 30 days, but the country's really doing well, really doing well. We're respected again all over the world. If you look, we had the Japanese Prime Minister. We had the Prime Minister yesterday of UK, as you know. We had the Prime Minister of India. We have another 20 prime ministers and presidents wanting to come. And very good feeling. I think our country has really turned around. We had a meeting today, as you know, with President Zelenskyy, and I would say it didn't work out exactly great from his standpoint. I think he very much overplayed his hand. We're looking for peace. We're not looking for somebody that's going to sign up a strong power and then not make peace because they feel emboldened, and that's what I saw happening. I'm looking for peace. We're not looking to go into a 10-year war and play games. We want peace. And it was just my impression that if we do that, if we sign up, he's looking for something that I'm not looking for. He's looking to go on and fight. We're looking to end the death. 2,000 people died this week. Soldiers, more than that, but 2,000 approximately people died this week. Young Ukrainians and Russians. And somebody would say, why do you care about Ukraine and Russian soldiers? I care about them. I care about everybody. And we're not doing that. Now, if we don't do anything, he's going to have to make peace, but he's dealing with a very weak set of cards. If we sign, he's dealing with a very strong set of cards, and then he doesn't want to make peace. So that's where we are. It's very simple. I'm not looking to get into anything protracted. I want immediate peace. President Putin is going to want to make, and he wants to end it. And you saw what I saw today. This is a man that wants to get us signed up and keep fighting, and we're not doing that, not for this country. So we're setting a lot of records. Economically, we're setting records, and I think every way we're setting records. One of the best is the right track, wrong track. You saw that. We're on the right track for the first time in over 27 years. People are impressed with that. The other thing is the feeling about our country. The feeling is great. It's up 48% on feeling on business. And that's the record we've never had. There's never been a record where we've ever gone up that much in such a short period of time. So we're doing really well. And I guess some of you are coming with us. And if you are, I hope you're going to have a good flight. What? He's got to say, I want to make peace. He doesn't have to stand there and say about Putin this, Putin that, all negative things. He's got to say, I want to make peace. I don't want to fight a war any longer. His people are dying. He doesn't have the cards, just so you understand it, okay? I can tell you.
Did you tell Zelenskyy to leave the White House?
I don't have to tell you that. Go ahead. I think you know the answer to it. What? Wait. Look, I don't trust or distrust anybody. I just want to get a deal done. And if the deal happens, good. But you can't embolden somebody that does not have the cards, and all of a sudden that person says, oh, well, now I can keep fighting. We're not going to keep fighting. You're going to get the war done or let them go and see what happens. Let them fight it out. I want anybody that's going to make peace. If he's capable of making peace, which he may or may not be, but I want somebody that's going to make peace. Again, he doesn't have the cards. When we sign up, he's got all of the cards. That doesn't mean he can fight. He's got to stop the fighting, stop the death. He's losing hundreds of thousands of soldiers. It's time to stop the death. Say it? Well, he says he wants it now. He wants to come back right now, but I can't do that.
Do you want immediate ceasefire?
They should have an immediate ceasefire. That was the other thing he didn't want to do about ceasefire. A ceasefire could take place immediately. A contract, if you want to end the war, you sign up an agreement. That's going to take a period of time. It takes time. I want it to end immediately. And I think if you had a ceasefire, it would be a ceasefire, a real one, that would end it. But he doesn't want to do that. That's fine. Do a better deal. I want it to end immediately. I want a ceasefire now. He says, oh, I don't want a ceasefire. Well, all of a sudden, he's a big shot because he has the U.S. will decide. Either we're going to end it or let him fight it out. And if he fights it out, it's not going to be pretty. Because without us, he doesn't win. Let me tell you. It doesn't matter what I'm considering. I'm just telling you. You saw what I saw today. That was not a man that wanted to make peace. And I'm only interested if he wants to end the bloodshed. Thank you very much. So I just...
Wow. Here's Mancow, my buddy. This is what he had to say.
You know how much money I've given Zelenskyy? $4,000. $1,000 for me, my wife, my kids. You've given $1,000 to this guy. For what? You know how much money I've given Zelenskyy?
Yeah, for what? Exactly. For what? And then we've got this. Okay, Zelensky's asked if the public spat in front of the media at the Oval Office served Ukrainians well. This was on Fox News.
Spat is... But do you think the public spat in the Oval Office in front of the media served Ukrainians well today?
I think this kind of spat is I mean, this we have. I mean, this is not good for both sides anyway, and I very open, but I can't, change our Ukrainian attitude to Russia, and I don't want they kill us for us. This is very, very clear that Americans are the best of our friends, Europeans are the best of our friends, and Putin with Russian, their enemies. And it doesn't mean that we don't want peace. We just want to recognize the reality, the real situation.
But do you...
Yeah, the real situation is that people are now calling for you to resign. Ukrainian MP Dubinsky just called for an emergency session of Ukraine's parliament to initiate impeachment proceedings against President Zelenskyy after the Oval Office shouting match. This is huge. Zelensky's regime is collapsing in real time. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has also terminated U.S. support for Ukraine energy grid restoration after Zelenskyy disrespected the United States in the Oval Office. FAFO Zelenskyy. And here he is. Remember when President Trump said, you want to talk about peace? Just say you're ready for peace. Well, he ran to Fox News after he saw that Truth Social post and said this.
That we have
that you will never sign a deal with Vladimir Putin. Is he right?
No, I think so. What I think. Ukraine wants peace, and we will have anyway diplomacy. We will have negotiations. I only said that I think so. It's about just and lasting peace. It means that we have to be very strong at the table of negotiations. And at these negotiations, Ukraine and Russia, like sides of this war, have to be, and the United States and Europe. That's what I said. So we are ready for peace, but we have to be in strong position. What does it mean? Just to know that our army is strong, that our partners with us, and that we have security guarantees. Am I not right?
That security guarantees is what he's looking for. And I think we've probably given him enough security guarantees. Oh, and then check this out. Okay. Some eagle-eared folks were listening to this in the Oval Office, and they state that Zelenskyy called JD Vance a bitch, and the mic caught it. Yes, he called him a bitch in his native tongue. Listen.
And seen, I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. I have been.
Wow. Talk about disrespecting the Oval Office. The Ukrainian ambassador to the United States also seems to be the only one in the room who understands the extent of the damage Zelenskyy has done to his cause. Her grim expression and the moment she picks up her pen are not just an expression of frustration, but a reflection of the failure. This is the moment she saw it all, and she said, oh my goodness, it is over. She realized what just happened. Zelenskyy overstepped and created a mess out of the entire situation. And of course, people are talking about the look on Rubio's face wasn't all that great either. Yeah, Rubio, neocon, hawk in his own right, sitting there with this glum look on his face. And then we have this. Representative Byron Donalds thinks that President Trump is absolutely correct. Let's listen to these remarks.
Acceptable, not going to happen. I think that the president is absolutely correct. First of all, you can't have another leader come into our Oval Office and disrespect our president. Just unacceptable, not going to happen. You could disagree however you want, but you do that behind closed doors. You don't do that in front of the world using the press as your vehicle. And so I think President Trump and Vice President Vance were absolutely correct to throw him out of there. And I know some people might be like, well, that's just not how these things are done. Let me tell you how this really works. You cannot have people disrespect you and then you still walk in and do a deal with them. The truth of the matter is that this deal's been on the table for about a month or so now. Vladimir Zelenskyy is the one that's slow walking the deal. And look, we want peace. We want to end this conflict. We cannot continue this conflict. And to be very blunt, Ukraine can't continue this conflict. I think that
we can't. We got to keep going. We need to have peace. And Zelenskyy just threw it all out the window. Now he's groveling on Fox News. The ambassador melting down. What else do we have here? This is Secretary Scott Bessent. You don't do a negotiation with the President of the United States like this.
Afterwards,
wow.
David, you don't do a negotiation with the President of the United States in public like this. That we were scheduled to have lunch afterwards, and that perhaps he could have brought up some of the points. Instead, he chose to let things go into a downward spiral on worldwide television. And, again, I keep coming back to the disrespect of the American people. It was one thing for President Zelenskyy and I had an extended, heated negotiation in Kyiv, but we were going to get this economic agreement done. But, when you bring it out to the public like this, we'll see if there's any coming back.
David, is there any coming back from this? We'll have to wait and see. There's so much to get into here. Here's the moment. So everybody knows Zelenskyy, he just disrespects the office regardless of who's in it. He always shows up looking like he just came out of the gym or he's in a tracksuit or something like that. I don't know. But this is when President Trump actually noted it. Listen to this.
Ready close?
How are you?
Ready shut?
He's all dressed up today.
President Trump, what's your message to Vladimir Putin, sir? President Trump, you got enough. President Trump, you got enough.
You're all dressed up today. Oh, yeah. And I think we've got another clip here. Okay, so look at this. Okay, so this is Dan Scavino. This is the empty joint press conference in the East Room that could have been filled up to capacity with the respectful questions being asked, a signed deal, but Zelenskyy threw it all out the window. Brian Hughes notes, Trump came to work this day ready to help move Ukraine towards peace and prosperity. Unimaginably, Ukraine's leader came to make a disrespectful spectacle of himself and his nation. Here's another shot of Zelenskyy and President Trump together. This was right before it all went down. But there's a question that Brian Glenn asked. I think I've got it here somewhere. We'll get to that in a second if I can track it down. Oh, yes, here it is. This is the Newsmax reporter, Brian Glenn. Oh, man. This was absolutely priceless. I'm going to be in D.C. all next week, and I got to say, Brian, dude, that was the money shot right there, baby. Thank you for asking the question on every American's minds, confronting Zelenskyy. Check this out, folks.
Finish?
Okay.
Second question.
My second question for President Zelenskyy.
No.
Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting
I don't
the
have
dignity of
such.
this office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe Wow.
Maybe something like this.
Something like yours, yes. Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for
I'll wear something better. I'll wear something cheaper. Oh my goodness. Man, Glenn, you just nailed him. You nailed him. That was absolutely beautiful. That was probably one of my favorite moments. Let's check it with Steven Crowder and his thoughts immediately following the whole debacle.
No. Not in public.
No. Just watch the exchange.
I mean, Crowder's remarks are really good here. Listen.
With Zelenskyy and President Trump, Vance. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Have you?
No. Not in public.
Not in public. Look, here's the thing. Okay, and people want to act like you're either Ukraine or you're Russia, you're Putin. I can't stand Putin. Do I think he's former KGB? Yeah. Do I think he's a totalitarian? Yeah. Do I think he's interested in freedom? Absolutely not. Don't like the way that he went into Ukraine. I think he'll take anything he can get. All right? But Zelenskyy is more indicative of the pervasive problem that we're dealing with. Whether it's NATO, whether it's the UN, whether it's the rest of Europe, whether it's Canada, this idea that it's a never-ending supply of support from the United States while you bitch about it. This has to start with some semblance of truth, okay? Without the United States, guess what? You're Russia, Ukraine. That was the law of the land. That's what happened. Stronger nations conquered weaker nations. All of these modern comforts that people take for granted, they're entirely supported by the United States and our military. Not a nation in Europe, certainly not Ukraine, certainly not Canada. And that is the mindset that emboldens people like Putin, because they know at a certain point that well runs dry. Does that make sense? Does that make someone pro-Russia to acknowledge there's no winning here, and there's certainly no winning without the United States? And if you accept those truths, probably not a good idea to walk into the Oval Office and be a dick. Here's how you know he's not being honest, Zelenskyy. First off, everything is a photo. He rubs me the wrong way, okay? Can't stand Putin, got it? Zelenskyy rubs me the wrong way. Why? Because he's walking around in the same outfit like he's cartoon Steve Jobs, and he's working for a book deal after this. None of it seems genuine. And he sits and he says, we have been strong since day one, and we have been alone. They haven't been strong since day one. They've been getting, this has been a shellacking, and everyone has been with them since day one. None of those statements are honest. How many Ukraine flags on X, on Instagram? How many hundreds of billions of dollars, largely from the United States and other nations, for you to say, oh, well, maybe you haven't been alone? Please, thank you. These are the words that people might like to hear when you come into our motherfucking Oval Office.
Yeah, please and thank you. How about it? Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Oh boy. Okay, President Trump had Zelenskyy kicked out. This is the moment that we learned about what happened.
House. This is what I was told. The president has kicked Zelenskyy out of the White House. His delegation right now is telling him that he's got to go home. This is what I was told.
Kicked out of the White House. Here is Representative Kevin Hearn on Zelenskyy being ill-prepared for the meeting.
Trump it was terrible. He was certainly ill prepared for that meeting, coming into the White House and not even knowing his audience, having seen President Trump over the years, his negotiation skills. This is incredible to see what's going on. And I know he's putting out posts afterwards saying thank you, but he had a big missed opportunity when he was sitting in front of the cameras. And the rest of the world, there's a lot of conversation about the rest of the world. I really think the rest of the world gets to see he has not lost his edge at all. He is determined to end the war in Ukraine. He's determined for the world to get back at peace as it was when he was in office before. No wars ever started under President Trump. All he wanted to do is put out the fires all over the world that this President Biden left him. Yeah, it was terrible. He was
totally ill-prepared. Unbelievable moments today in the Oval Office. And then we got this from Breitbart. Elon Musk posting, time to find out what really happened to the hundreds of billions of dollars sent to Ukraine. It's Doge time, baby. We're going to find out real soon where all that money actually went. Elon Musk is on the case. Wall Street Mav had this take. Trump is trying to stop the killing. Zelensky's refusing to agree to even negotiate with Putin until Putin essentially surrenders and withdraws. Zelensky is not in a position to make demands prior to negotiation. It's not a realistic position. Putin is obviously not withdrawing. What else have we got for you here on this? So much is happening. Okay, we got more. We got Byron Donalds. The meeting just deteriorating. Unbelievable. I mean, this picture says it all right there. Ukrainian ambassador, totally ashamed. Why don't you wear a suit? That was amazing. Here's the actual moment. CBN caught this. Watch this. Look at her. She's like, oh no, here it is. Oh, yeah. Completely embarrassed by her own president. Oh, and then we have this, okay? This was right before the meeting. Real Robert states it wasn't just Zelensky who got bitch slapped today. The whole effing thing was bitch slapped, and the echo is reverberating across the world, including in the United States Congress. This is the welcome that Zelensky was hoping to get in the Oval Office, but clearly he did not. And keep in mind, these are all your members of Congress, your senators, all sitting there. Oh, hey, look here's our hero. Let's see if we can find a way to back channel some more money to this Ukraine conflict so we can keep the war machine fed.
Thank you very much. How are you? How you doing? Hi. Good to see you, pal. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
You look good. How's it going? Really? Yes.
Hang in there. Hang in there. You got a lot of friends here.
Yeah, hang in there. You got a lot of friends here. That's what he said.
Thank you very much for this.
Yeah, so what's going to happen? I think we got the clip. Here's Lindsey Graham. Here's Lindsey Graham, who is the biggest neocon in Congress and wants direct war with Russia, calls on Zelensky to resign after his behavior in the Oval Office. Do you believe what he's saying? Do you believe? I mean, whatever happened in that Oval Office today clearly derailed the peace plan. So I don't know if I can believe Lindsey Graham here, but let's watch.
Deal which would. All right.
For you and for us.
So, what do I think? Complete, utter disaster. I've been to Ukraine 8 or 9 times since the war started. I understand the consequences of Putin's actions against Ukraine. I appreciate what the Ukrainian people have done. They fought like tigers. At the end of the day, I was hoping that this minerals deal, which would be transformative in the relationship, would go over well. I talked to Zelensky this morning. Don't take the bait. President Trump was in a very good mood last night. Somebody asked me, am I embarrassed about Trump? I have never been more proud of the president. I was very proud of JD Vance, standing up for our country. We want to be helpful. What I saw in the Oval Office was disrespectful, and I don't know if we can ever do business with Zelensky again. I think most Americans saw a guy that they would not want to go in business with. The way he handled the meeting, the way he confronted the president was just over the top. So I think the relationship between Ukraine and America is important, vitally important. But can Zelensky do a deal with the United States? After what I saw, I don't know.
What would he need to do, sir? Senator Graham.
You just had lunch with President Trump. What did he say to you about his interactions and whether he thinks
he was shocked? He was very upbeat. I told Zelensky, we'll talk about security guarantees. We'll talk about ceasefires and how the war ends. This is a process. You have a new relationship with America, a $500 billion, $500 billion deal that President Trump is proud of, that gives us an interest worth defending. Let's talk about the positive. But he was terrible at Munich, Zelensky, and I think he has made it almost impossible to sell to the American people that he's a good investment, that he is a good business.
You calling for last question. Senator Graham. Hey, one at a time. One at a time. Christian Daytime. Senator Graham, thank you. Do you think President Zelensky needs to resign to resume these peace talks?
He either needs to resign and send somebody over that we can do business with, or he needs to change.
Do you
That's Harrison Rogers right there, calling out, no more questions, no more questions. It's wild seeing some of those folks that I see in the press office right there on camera. Pretty cool stuff, though. Let's see what else we've got for you guys here. Sorry, had to sneeze here. Okay, I think we've got a lot of it covered. My goodness, the fireworks today, absolutely amazing. And of course, it all culminated at the end of the day when our own producer Todd was on the ground there. Historic, unreal, absolute mayhem. What happened today will go down as one of the most chaotic and defining moments in modern politics. Let's recap the insanity. So this morning, Zelenskyy arrived at the White House, ready to sign a minerals deal and secure U.S. support, but things went off the rails fast. Inside the Oval Office, Zelenskyy clashed with Trump and JD Vance, pushing for more aid, lecturing the U.S. president on Ukraine's needs, refusing to accept a ceasefire. Trump, visibly furious, called him out. You're gambling with World War III. You don't have the cards. You're running out of soldiers. Then came the bombshell. Trump kicked Zelenskyy out of the White House. Minutes later, Trump dropped a nuke on Truth Social. Zelenskyy is not ready for peace. He can come back when he is. The press conference scrapped, minerals deal collapsed, Zelenskyy stormed out of D.C. It did not end there. Check this out. The FBI is now returning Trump's property, the classified documents the deep state raided his home for. Now loaded on the Air Force One and returned to Trump before takeoff. Then Marine One landed at Joint Base Andrews. Trump boarded Air Force One and was gone. POTUS back in Florida. Here is the moment that Todd captured on the tarmac, Air Force One and President Trump departing from the aircraft.
Here we go, here we go.
So there's President Trump departing Air Force One. We got some more clips there on X. I mean, Todd was visibly moved that he had the opportunity to see Air Force One.
You see what's right behind me, right? I could not be more excited at this very moment. I am literally standing in front of Air Force effing One. President Trump just exited. I have footage of that. I'll share that, but I wanted you to see, because I was trying to be respectful of the other media folks here, so as not to talk in their shot. But now that he's gone, I can tell you how fucking unbelievable this experience has been. My mind is blown. Look at it. That's Air Force One. Yep.
That was in West Palm Beach. And then he was super excited to share this picture. I've got, here it is. This is White House press pool, Todd Siegel, Next News Network, history being made. Here's the moment that President Trump departed Marine One when he was still in D.C., heading to Air Force One. So, folks, it has been an absolutely amazing day. Make sure you follow us on X, because we're tracking this stuff in real time all day long. We're getting all the emails, press releases from the White House. So many things happening. In fact, this just happened before this report. President Trump changing the game again. First ever White House Crypto Summit happening on March 7th. The White House Crypto Summit is happening. So this is going to be exciting. So the implications of today's Oval Office showdown cannot be overstated. When Trump told Zelenskyy, "You're gambling with World War III," he was laying down a marker for the entire world. It's not just about Ukraine. It's about America reasserting its leadership and demanding accountability from those who take our aid. The mineral deal that was supposed to be signed, dead. The press conference that was scheduled, canceled. Zelenskyy left with nothing but a bruised ego and a stark message. America first, and now he's facing impeachment back at home. As Marco Rubio said, no president has ever had the courage to stand up like this. So the question now is, will Zelenskyy come back to the table ready for peace, or will he continue to gamble with the lives of millions? What do you think? Was Trump right to take such a hard line with Ukraine? Drop a comment below. Grab your next news swag, grab a hat from our merch shop, and show the world you support real news.